Hi guys, today we're going to be looking at area and perimeter of circles. So when you look at a circle, there are two measurements that can be given from the center of the circle. One is the radius. The radius is half of the distance across the circle through the center of the circle. So the radius looks like this from the center halfway across. We use lowercase r to show the radius. Or you can measure the diameter. The diameter is all the way across the circle through the center. And we use a lowercase d to show diameter. Two radiuses, we don't say radiuses, we say radii. Two radii equal one diameter. Double the radius is the diameter. So we have two formulas, one for area and one for circumference. Area is pi radius squared. Circumference is pi times diameter. Actually, I should use an uppercase here. We also have another formula that's sometimes used, which is 2 pi r for circumference. I tend to use the pi d because it's just fewer things to remember. But two radiuses, like I said, two radii equal a diameter. So that's why they're really the same formula. Anything that has to do with area is anything that looks like covering the inside of a circle. That's area. And circumference is the outside of the circle, the perimeter. Anything that has to do with the outside is circumference. When a problem asks you, like in example 1, to find the exact circumference or exact area, they're asking you to express your answer in terms of pi. So find the exact circumference for a circle whose radius is 30 centimeters. We want circumference, so we're going to use the pi d formula. The radius is 30. If the radius is 30, then the diameter has to be double that, 60. So circumference is pi times 60. And since they want it to be exact, we want to just leave it in terms of pi. So you would just express it as 60 pi. In part B, find the circumference of the circle in part A rounded to the nearest tenth. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to your calculator and you're going to multiply the value of pi, use the pi key, times 60. So I'm doing that right now. I'm doing pi times 60. And now I can round that to the nearest tenth like they want. So I'm doing 60 times pi on my calculator. And that's going to be 188.49, which rounds up to a 5. And this would be centimeters. Circumference is length, and so it's just centimeters or inches or feet. Okay, example 2 says find the exact area of a circle, and it's exact again, so that's in terms of pi, whose diameter is 18 inches. So area is pi r squared, and if the diameter is 18, then the radius must be half of that, 9. So we're going to do pi times 9 squared. And that's 81 pi. In terms of pi, I just leave it like that. And this would be, the units are square inches. Anything that has to do with area is going to be square units. Part B says find the area of the circle in part A rounded to the nearest hundredth. So I'm going to go to my calculator and I'm going to multiply 81 times pi times the value of pi, and that'll give me the value that I can round times 81 is going to be 254 point, and it says 468, so it'd be 47, and this is square inches. Okay, and then in terms of word problems in example 3, they say find the number of square feet of paint needed to cover a circle whose diameter is 12 feet. So if they're talking about painting, covering a circle, that means they want you to find the area. So you're going to use the A equals pi r squared formula. The diameter is 12. So if the diameter is 12, I need radius. My radius must be half of that, 6. Pi times 6 squared. And I want to round to the nearest foot. So I'm going to take 36 pi and put it in my calculator. So 36 times pi is going to give us 113.1, and this will be square feet because it's area. Okay, so example 4 asks you to find the number of feet of fencing needed to enclose a circular garden whose radius is 12 feet. So in a word problem that asks you about fencing, fencing goes on the outside of a circle. So you're looking for circumference. So circumference is pi times diameter. They tell you that the radius is 12. If the radius is 12, then the diameter must be double that, 24. So you're going to use pi times 24. And it says to round to the nearest hundredth. So 24 times pi is, hold on this calculator, hundredth of a foot, 75.398, so it'll be 75.40. And it's circumference, so it's just feet. Okay, so those are word problems that like ask you to apply and figure out whether they're asking you for circumference or area. Now for problems that involve working backwards, in example 5, they're going to give you the area or the circumference, and you have to find the opposite one, or you have to find a radius or a diameter, depends on the question. So in example 5, the area of a circle is 113.1 square centimeters. What is the approximate length of the radius? So when they give you the area, what I like to do is I write the formula and I take the area and I put it under the A. And then I isolate the variable, the R. What is the approximate length of its radius? So to isolate R, if you think back earlier this school year, we divide both sides by pi. So on your calculator, you're going to divide 113.1 divided by pi, which gives you about 36 for r squared. And then you're going to take the square root on both sides, so r is about, the radius is about 6. Now I could have asked you lots of questions here. Instead of the radius, I could have said, what is the length of its diameter? In which case then you would say 12, because it's double the radius, 12 centimeters. I could have asked you, what is its circumference? Once you figure out the radius, you can then figure out circumference, because circumference is pi times diameter, so it'd be pi times 12, and you could answer that question. So that's how like the working backwards problems work, is that they give you a value that you substitute for the A or for the C. You can then figure out the radius or the diameter and then answer whatever the appropriate question that was given to you. In example 6, the area of a circle is 81 pi square inches. What is the length of its diameter? So they're giving me area, but this time, let me write the formula first. I always write the formula first. I can't erase right now. Why can't I erase? Okay, it's not letting me erase that. All right, so A equals pi r squared. And I'm going to plug the 81 pi under the A. So this time my area was given to me in terms of pi. So what you do here is when you divide by pi, it just crosses out on both sides. And now you have 81 equals r squared. And now you could square root both sides and get that the radius is 9. The question is, what is the length of its diameter? Diameter is not the radius times 2, so 9 times 2, 18 inches. Okay, look at another one, example 7. The circumference of a circle is 14 pi. What is its exact area? So this time they gave me the circumference of a circle. So I'm going to start by writing the formula for circumference. C equals pi d. This is the circumference, so I'm going to put it under the C. 14 pi equals pi d. This is in terms of pi, so I can just divide both sides by pi, and the pi's cancel on both sides. I have that 14 is the diameter. Now the question is, what is its exact area? So I need to go to area formula, pi r squared, if I need r. So if my diameter is 14, radius is half of that. My r is 7. So I'm going to go into pi r squared and plug in 7 for radius. Pi times 7 squared is going to be 49 pi. And since it said exact, I'm going to leave it in terms of pi. Okay, and then example 8, our last one, is what is the area of a circle with a circumference of 94 inches? Round to the nearest tenth. So they're giving me a circumference of 94. So I'm going to go to my C equals pi d formula, and I'm going to put 94 under the C. and I'm going to find out what the diameter is. I'll divide both sides by pi. This time I need the calculator. I'm going to divide 94 divided by the pi key. I get 29.92. Now this is a decimal that I'm just kind of rounding. Okay, then I need to figure out, it says what is the area. So I need to go to area formula. A equals pi r squared. A equals pi times, now if my diameter is 29.92, then my radius is half of that. So I'm going to divide that by 2, is about 14.96. I'll round to the tenths place at the end. Right now I'm just rounding it a couple of places out, and I'm going to have to square that. So I'm going to go on my calculator and hit squared. That's going to be 223.82 pi. And then I'm going to multiply by pi on the calculator. So times pi, because I need to round it at the end to the nearest tenth, 703.14, it'll be 703.1. And this is area, so it's inches squared. Okay, so you'll do some of these tonight for homework and then some more tomorrow, and we'll go over them in class also. Okay, thanks.